This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and
go ahead and open up the doors. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Daily with Doc. My name is Becca Dukes, and I am humbly honored to be able to bring empowering information to you Monday through Friday from 12 to 12:50 p.m. Pacific time. Oh, there's just so much in this world, folks, that can be overwhelming. Well, when it comes to health and wellness, it doesn't have to be. And that's the nice thing about the program that we bring to you with Daily with Doc. So this program is being sponsored by dailywithdoc.com. There you will find the replays of our previous productions of Daily with Doc, including Ask Doc Live and Ask Doc Daily and Q&A with pharmacist Ben, and many empowering articles that give you information that lets you know, folks, we are not chemical deficient. We're nutrient deficient. And when we give the bodies the nutrients that the bodies need, the body can do some amazing things. And that's what you're going to hear about in this program today. So we have an amazing doctor with us Monday through Friday who has been decades of research, not just, thumbing through the internet. It's like, oh, here, this and that, not just going to school, not just getting a Bachelor of Science in Agriculture or a doctorate of veterinary medicine or 3 postdoctorates in pathology or a naturopathic physician's. And before getting and becoming a naturopathic physician, he was teaching nutrition at naturopathic university. So we've got an amazing individual here with a lot of information. And what's special about today's program is we have a guest who, since the age of 15, has wanted to help those in the later years of life. As he was strolling through the VA hospital, he noticed there were so many people needing help. And at that time, he started his research and started putting things into line that allowed him to then become an owner of multiple facilities that helped people in their later years. And for today, I am focusing and calling this episode The Reality to Aging and Care Facilities. Truth and what will happen if you ignore Dr. Wallach's wisdom, featuring care facility administrator and owner, Nick. So I want to welcome Dr. Wallach and Nick to the screen here with me. There they are. So we have Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science, Doctorate of Veterinary Medicine, 3 postdoctorates in pathology and naturopathic physician. And we have this young man, Nick, who you're going to hear an amazing story of his own and taking Dr. Wallach's advice and how he's been able to use Dr. Wallach's advice in what he does each and every day. So first, Nick, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Tell me just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna keep you focused.
Yeah, keep me focused because I can talk.
Because you have so much to share, and I'm excited because of all the excitement that you have because of the results and from the solutions that we offer through this program and the doctor that has come up with them.
Yep.
So first, tell us your personal story and what has happened in your life using Dr. Wallach's recommendations.
Within 10 seconds, just backtrack a little bit. I deal with the end-of-life results of everybody's pet theories all these years. I'm a hands-on administrator. I'm not the multimillionaire in Florida that's trying to do acquisitions and taking over facilities and then just leeching them for money. I'm hands-on. So I go from dressing very nice to dressing like this to helping the plumber, because we are the top compliant facility in Lane County, and I like that status. because we don't get in trouble, and it keeps the state happy and everybody's happy, and we don't get write-ups and we don't get, fees and fines. So other big facilities use the cost of they incorporated into their budget fees and fines and write-ups. Well, we don't do that here. We're trying to be the better. So when I was young, I had asthma and dermatitis and dark depression and leg cramps. And and I tried to be a running back, but I'm only 5'7", and I couldn't take the hits, and it just wasn't fun for me. I rode motocross, but it didn't make sense that people we all ate generally the same thing. Why did I have asthma and they didn't? It wasn't debilitating. Well, and then I would also see the people, suffering in the VA hospital because I'd ride my bike through it because they had a good trail. Well, guess a miracle, just one day, because we didn't have a representative back in 1991, cassette is in my mailbox. This is an older one. Oh, of course, I listened to it. My jaw just hit the floor. I says, well, how can this doctor who takes the same classes as this doctor who says, well, you can get rid of asthma and diabetes and arthritis. And this doctor says, no, you can't. You have to take the same classes. And I said, this is just not right. So I didn't know what to do back then, and still suffering with the asthma. I still have my original Primatene Mist up in a locked cabinet at our facility from 1992, because now you have to get a prescription for it. Well, I didn't know what to do back then. I listened to the cassette, and I was pretty angry at this because, I never looked at the doctors the same at work, because I was just like, wow, you guys that's amazing. How can I get this information and you go to Oregon State University and you don't get this information? How about all these books? It's everywhere in the literature in the world. It's all over the world. Everywhere you go, there is this kind of information. I mean, we could sit here all day and talk about these different books, right? So how could I have been so lucky? Anyway, so I didn't know what to do. So I'm at the convenience store one day, and I'm looking over, and I see on the health rack in the convenience store, there's these supplement packs, mega, ultra, super, and so I took the mega pack, and like Wallach said, you got to break them in half because the coating is slickery, doesn't absorb very well. So I broke all these tablets in half and threw away the caffeine one, and my asthma was gone in 2 weeks. Took one of those a day, every day, and the asthma was gone in 2 weeks, and I haven't had asthma attack since. And that hasn't been indicative of everything else. My skin is clear. I got all my teeth. I'm not on any prescription drugs. That I don't have to be. I don't even have health care. I have insurance, but I don't have to go to the doctors for anything. I have to go to the doctors because I have to do legally. I have to be strong enough to be able to lift people and help people with the fire. So I have to pass physicals. But otherwise, I don't need them. When things get bad, I just dose up more. All right. Look at, well, okay, the stress has been really bad, so I increase the B's, increase the iron, increase the calcium, and then I don't wake up as stressed out and as upset. The depression of this 3 years was pretty bad because I didn't know if I was going to be forced out of business. So, but what do? The same situation would be the same the next day, but I wouldn't be as depressed because I dosed up a bit more that day. So the nutrition is the key. And that's kind of what I want to portray with becoming older and the reality of care centers. I don't want to be the downer here, but there's a reality to this, because you drive by these facilities and you don't see the suffering because they're in behind the walls, and it's just, I don't know, that's kind of where I am here with trying to contribute.
So, Nick, you're saying that supplementation really does make a difference to the body?
Well, when do you not need selenium? Never. Take all the selenium out of your body, you're dead before it's completely out. And that applies to all the known nutritional minerals. There is no scenario. I can have a baby with a 7-foot African tribal woman who drinks blood, and because we're the same. Those nutrients need to be there no matter what. Even this little my fish tanks, the residents like the fish tanks. There's 27 vitamins and minerals in the fish food for the stupid sea monkeys that we entertain them with. If they don't put these vitamins and minerals in these packets, they die. They don't even grow. I think you're more important than a fish, and this applies to cans of food. I challenge your audience to go, I don't care if it's organic, it doesn't matter. Go look at cans or a bag of lettuce and turn around and look at the vitamins and minerals in there. There's insignificant amounts. It's insignificant, for human being nutrition, for human being, the density of it. I had a bet with this doctor because I have hazelnut farms on both sides of my property that there's an insignificant amount of minerals and they only require 5 to 6 to grow. And I won the bet. It's $100. Of course, I didn't collect the money. And I went to Oregon State University with 7 nuts from the north side and 7 nuts from the south side. And I didn't hear from him. And for a while, I thought he ripped me off, you know, and they did analysis. And he calls me, he goes, well, there's 7 on the north side and 8 on the south side. Not too much, though. Lots of nitrogen, got to go by. Click and hung up the phone. And that information I took to the doctor. And so, you know, it's just nature. And again, he doesn't put, there's no flooding. There's no mineral silt that comes in, maybe just enough from the dust in the air fertilizes them plants and then what they put in. But nobody's putting wood ash in it. Nobody's doing what they've been usually do for thousands of years. I mean, I talk to the Chinese every day because I'm trying to get help labor here because we're shortage of labor, and they live in floodplains, you know. So things are just different, and then we're in trouble. The government's broke, and my industry leeches and takes everything from you. You know, if you don't invest in Wallach and invest in, and stop, you know, get off the TikTok and start reading, you know, I'm working on trying to get barcodes that I can hand out for diabetes. And so they can just take their phone, click barcode, and someone needs to go to jail, part 1, part 2 comes up, and they can just watch it on their own time. Because if I sit there and just say it to them, they, you know, they grab their phone and they're fiddling with it. I'm trying to find faster ways. But if you don't invest in yourself, you're going to invest in me, in my industry. And we're expensive.
And for those that are just joining us, Nick's industry is
senior healthcare.
Senior healthcare. And Nick, you don't have to be a senior to walk through the doors of your healthcare facility, because I know you've had some fairly younger than me, people in your care.
Yep. I can show you the example when you're ready too of an extreme. My most, what I would say, popular case with this particular resident, I was able to legally focus much more of Wallach's protocols, because I can't legally give them vitamins, minerals, amino acids, fatty acids. But hey, guess what? I can make shakes.
And it just so happens Dr. Wallach has a few shakes.
Yeah, there you go. So I don't have to give them an insure. I can get out of there. They can't legally tell me what to feed. We eat normal food here. We got pizza and lasagna and we got treats, but by law, they have to eat 3 meals a day plus a snack have to be offered. And the kitchen's open 24 hours a day. So everybody gets whatever they want.
Starved. And so here's another question for you, Nick. How important has it been for you and your residents in adding or not adding gluten within the diets?
I'm in competition with 200 other facilities. If I didn't do this, I don't have a strategic advantage. I can show legally hundreds of medication reductions. I can show before and after pictures of people that have skull cap and they pull their socks off, because these other bigger facilities, they have tons and tons of attorneys. I have my 4 litigation attorneys, but their attorneys are way more powerful than mine, and they get away with literally murder. You know, they kill one of my residents every year. I lose a resident through a medical procedure. And so it's a win-win in the sense that I usually don't get a medication, a payment reduction. Their eyes are sharper, they're clear, their skin is healthier. They start getting my record. I got rid of type 2 diabetes on a Parkinson's person. I did it in less than 31 days. That's my record. And so there's no comparison to when I go and look at other facilities compared to what we do and how quickly they turn around. And my letters of recommendations and you know, the families come in and they haven't seen their parents in a couple of months and they're like, Mom, wow, you look great. And then the tears start coming in their eyes, and then they're starting to remember things that they didn't remember before, and then they can stand up and then they can go out with the family. Sometimes families will come with 5 or 6 people because they're anticipate how hard the workload is going to be that they took care of them. Well, they come and pick up and take their families and they can walk. And so, you know, again, it's win-win. There's no negative scenario to it except for the fact that, you know, the state will sit there and say, well, you know, they can eat gluten if they want to. They have patient rights, but you know, we sign a contract and they have to eat it in the room, and you know, and that's legal. We're staying within the law, but we're getting fantastic results.
That's fabulous. So, Dr. Wallach, do you have any questions for Nick?
Well, I'm just amazed at all the great things he's doing. And I can't thank him enough for being a warrior on the front lines here. making things happen. And of course, this is what I used to see in the autopsy room. When you do 32,000 autopsies, you see a lot of stuff. And it was just make you cry when you'd see all these young kids, who are just 3, 4, 5 years old dying. You'd see kids who are in their teens dying. You'd see young people in their 20s and 30s dying. You'd see people in their 40s dying. And these are the athletes. You see the life expectancy of a professional athlete in America who makes millions of dollars a year, their life expectancy is 56.3. 56.3. The life expectancy of billionaires in America is 66.7. This is crazy. Okay. Now in Japan, their life expectancy is 84.7. The life expectancy of the general population in America, depending on whose data you're looking at, is 73 to 75. Okay. And it's one of those things. Oh, if I didn't say it, emergency room doctors, their life expectancy is 58.7. Okay. This is terrible. Okay. And so I can't thank Nick enough for doing what he's doing. And of course, we deal with athletes all the time, and athletes die early because they sweat and they just drink water. That's what the doctors teach them and their coaches teach them. Just drink water to rehydrate after you exercise. But when you're sweating out all these nutrients. And so we came up with Rebound or sports drink with 100 nutrients in it. Red Bull, the biggest seller on the market for energy drinks and sports drinks, only has one mineral, magnesium. Okay. And we have 75 minerals in ours. Which one has more? 70 in my math, 75 is more than one. Okay. They run energy from sugar and caffeine, and we run energy by healthy metabolism. There's a huge difference there. And so this is what we do with all of our projects. We deal with over 600 different diseases. We have 5,000 products. And I'm going to have to go and do a study here quickly. And maybe by next month, I'll find out how many people we have who are active associates and distributors, what their average age is. Okay. Okay. That'll be very interesting. Because I get so much feedback from people, telling me what's going on. When you look at the people who have the longest life expectancy, it's the Hunzas in the Himalayan mountains. The Hunzas' life expectancy, remember, we're 73 to 75. The Hunzas are 120. Many of them live to be 30, 40, 50 years of age. And that's because their valleys are surrounded by active volcanoes, and this ash is falling under their fields and their lakes and everything. They're drinking water that is heavily mineralized by this volcanic ash. They're growing their crops in fields that are heavily mineralized by the volcanic ash. Okay. And it's the fact that they have all these minerals. And the only thing that I have not quite gotten done yet is to do a hair analysis on about 100 of these tons of people. So I think that's my next step, is to get a hair analysis and find out what minerals they're getting, where they're at compared to where we're at, because minerals support your immune system. Your immune system is your bone marrow. Most people never see their bone marrow. Okay, thank goodness. Because they only get to see their bone marrow when they're dead, probably, right? It's one of those things where your bone marrow makes white blood cells to go kill and eat bacteria, viruses, fungus, and cancer cells, and that kind of stuff. If your bone marrow is not working, you're helpless. Any little thing that comes along is going to kill you very quickly and painfully and miserably and expensively. Okay. But if you're taking, all 90 essential nutrients and stay away from the bad foods to maximize absorption, reduce inflammation, and your immune system's healthy, and you're making lots of white blood cells and red blood cells and platelets and antibodies and so on, your skin's healthy, your hair is healthy. White hair is not due to aging. As Nick found out, it's due to nutritional deficiencies. And so it's kind of a good barometer. If you, have to dye your hair 3 times a month because your hair, is white, you want to stay away from all the bad stuff. We have a good food, bad food list. We have a book. It's called Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. There's 300 pages of safe recipes and safe cooking methods. Okay. And I think I may want to put that into something. And in addition to being a book, I want to make a kind of a film out of it. There you go. Make a film out of it also, so people can just stick it, on their computer and show it to a dozen people at the same time or so forth. That book saves thousands of lives a day, okay, because of the information. You have to be able to absorb the nutrients, you have to be able to utilize the nutrients, and you have to take the nutrients. You cannot get them from your food. Plants only need 3 minerals, we need 60. Plants do not make minerals. And when a doctor says, oh, just eat well, you get everything you need, don't waste your money on vitamins and minerals, you need to get a new doctor immediately. Fire them on the spot. I'm sorry, I'm terminating our relationship. I'm going to hire a doctor that recommends high quality vitamins and minerals and knows what they're doing when it comes to nutrition. And for my own safety, I'm terminating our relationship. Bye-bye. Okay. And people need to be educated enough so they feel comfortable in doing that. And once you fire enough doctors, they'll start learning about nutrition because the word will get out. Boy, if you don't get these guys on nutrition, you're not going to have any patients. Okay.
Well, they'll blacklist you.
Yeah,
There
they'll
you go.
blacklist you, that's for sure. So Dr. Wallach, one thing that I wanted to point out, which you have been saying for years, is to eat like an Asian. And one thing that Nick had said is that area there is covered in floodplains. So the things that are growing in the ground there in China, where he's having to go to find
Bottom
people
land. Yeah.
to work the bottom land, you know, they have just more nutrition in their food. But folks, when we can't have more nutrition in the food itself, then we need to be intentional.
Yeah. Let me throw one piece in here
Go
because
ahead.
bottom land existed from the beginning of time. Okay. Floods every spring. When the floodwater recedes, it leaves a silt behind. It got mixed in with the topsoil, and the plants there had more minerals in it than so bottom land always had more fertility. Well, when we came out with electricity at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, on Pearl Street in New York City, in the bluff overlooking the construction of Brooklyn Bridge, Thomas Edison pulled a switch. Okay. And suddenly now we had hydroelectric, and within 20 years, all the bottom land in America went away because we dammed up the river, so there was no more floods. And all that good, highly minerally nutrient food that people were getting from bottom land was gone. Okay. And so more and more people were dying at a younger age from simple nutritional deficiencies. And of course, the doctors love it. Oh, just go to this grocery store. Okay. And you get everything you need. Well, if they're only supplementing with the standards fertilizer, which is NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, the plant is happy, but you need 60 minerals. So you're 57 short. Okay. And, there's, again, 600 different diseases you can get from nutritional deficiencies. And the reason we should be living the longest, Japan shouldn't be the longest lived peoples, with the exception of the Hunzas. If the Hunzas can live to be 120, we should be able to live to be 150. Okay, we have the knowledge and capacity available to us. We're following the wrong coaches. When it comes to nutrition, doctors know little or nothing. If your belly's full and you're not hungry, they're happy. Okay, that's all they
Well,
care.
your belly can be, Dr. Wallach, your belly can be full and you're still hungry.
That's true.
Because the body doesn't have the nutrition that it needs, which is called what, Dr. Wallach?
PICA, you develop PICA, PICA, and you start eating 10 meals a day instead of 3 or 2. I only eat 2 meals a day. I have a snack at lunch. I'll have 2 cheese sticks and let's see here. I'll take a Rebound. I'll have a Rebound drink with 100 nutrients in it, and those 2 cheese sticks. And let's see what else do I have with that. I think that's it.
Yeah, not much. So,
It's just my lunch.
We don't need empty calories, folks. And something that I'd like Nick to do is he has some before and after pictures where he has implemented Dr. Wallach's recommendations into his care facilities with some of the patients that are there under his care. And I know I'm going to go ahead and just have him spotlighted here so that we can get a better view of what he is going to be sharing. And Nick, first, let's talk about the bottom land and the minerals and what happens behind the dams. So Nick has a picture right now. Did you get the right picture there? Where they're opening up, is it the bottom of a dam?
The middle of the dam to allow some repairs. They're draining it out so they can do repairs on the generators. And this is just a massive mineral silt sludge that sits at the end of the dam every time they open up to repair them up here at the Northwest.
So all of those minerals are being captured behind the dam. If we were to dig that out, and Dr. Wallach has talked about it, as a prescription for Mother Earth, which is another one of his publications that you can find at drjwallach.com, and take that deposit of minerals and spread it back out through the land that should be getting it anyways. There's a lot that we can do to create a neutral carbon footprint. And there you go, Dr. Wallach.
It's
The
called
soil
BM.
revitalizer.
BM. It's not bowel movement. It's blooming minerals.
Blooming minerals.
Blooming minerals. Okay, comes in 2.5 pound jars, 4.5 pound jars, and 40 pound bags. And if you're going to grow a garden, you need this stuff in there. In addition to supplementing directly yourself, you put these minerals into your garden. And this is how we used to get our minerals before electricity. Everybody would take their wood ashes from their fireplaces and their stoves and put them into the gardens. And depending on where you live, that's very important, depending on where you live, because nutritional minerals don't occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like gold and silver. And some places have a lot, some places don't have any. But if you're putting these wood ashes into your garden, and the beets and the onions and tomatoes and let's see, all the berries and
Just anything you put in your mouth, Dr. Wallach, that's considered food needs to be nutrient dense.
that's correct.
And we can be intentional in making that happen. And Dr. Wallach, I don't mean to cut you off, but there's some before and after pictures, and pictures are worth 1,000 words. I mean, a picture is worth 1,000. Yeah, whatever it is. Show me some before and after pictures, Nick.
All right,
Because I know that's
this
for us
one. Go ahead.
for us visual learners, having a before and after picture, and then knowing what it took from point A to point B is very impactful. So please go ahead.
All right, as an example, again, I talked to the Chinese. This lady here, if you look at she picks tea for the CCP, okay, and their land is layered for the water to go, and it sits in a gully, it sits in a trough, and then when it dries during the season, then she can go down there and pick the trees. So again, I talked to the Chinese, I understand what's going on. If you look behind me, you notice that it's bare because of all of the rules and all of the pressures of this industry. Very few people like me want to do this job. I had to take all of this stuff down, hide everything. I have plenty of other qualifications, certificates, that I have. This is last year's continuous training. This is last year's. Okay. So again, before I get to before and after pictures, there's things that are going on in this industry. It's controlled chaos, ladies and gentlemen. It just is. And what you're seeing in with acquisitions, like PepsiCo bought a bunch of different companies, and Coca-Cola bought a bunch of different companies, and they acquisition these businesses. Well, it's kind of done. The last businesses where kind of these crazy billionaires are trying to acquisition companies is cybersecurity and healthcare. You watch Dan Pina's video, Dan Pina, he's just ruthless multimillionaire that teaches people how to go in there and get these businesses and acquisition them and take them over. And guess what? You lose kind of in the sense because they start laying people off and they move them together, and then they walk in there with an arrogance and they beat down these people that end up quitting. And there is a massive doctor shortage. I mean, I don't always know if it's a good idea to fire your doctor, because there's 2 clinics closed down here because there's no doctors. My LPN friend just got up to $45 an hour because there's shortage of help. None of my workers are less than $20 an hour. None of them. All day I walk around and I just make sure that they're happy, because there's a massive, incredible, unmitigated shortage in the industry. And that's what's contributing to a lot of problems, because everybody's stressed out. So again, up north, if you don't have 15 million in the bank, yeah, boy, you better follow Wallach to death, because up north, It's $15,000 a month just to be in the facility. I don't charge those kind of rates, but that is not uncommon with those kind of rates that are get charged. I need a minimum $2,800 minimum. Otherwise, I can't pay the bills. So let me give you an example here. This is one of my more extreme, better cases. So she was a bit handicapped, but she was married and she was a beautician. This is 15 years ago. You could tell, the digital phone cameras weren't very good then. She's 5'1", 272 pounds, brittle diabetic on 27 medications. Look at the discolorization of her limbs. Doctors are salivating to cut those legs off. If you look at her hair, she has barely any hair because she had behavior issues. She rocked back and forth and she would pick her hair, and then we'd have to have a chuck on the ground to collect all of the hair. Could barely move because she had a bum hip. There's 3 people to transfer her, right? 27 medications, don't forget. Now, what can I legally do at my facility? Well, I can't give them Wallach stuff, but I can implement it in the food. I can make the shakes. I can dump, when we dump out the juice in the can, I put a big slab of butter in there. I make sure that the food is militant gluten-free, none. Back off on carbs. If we use rice, we put a lot of butter in it. Get those good fats going, and don't overcook it. Don't overheat it. Don't burn the meat. That's when it can be a problem. Now, she was a captive audience in the sense that she didn't have any family members, so she couldn't go down to the store and cheat and go down and go get the bread or Hostess pot pie with the gluten in it. So she had ice cream. Again, 3 meals a day plus a snack by law. This is 15 years later. She's on 2 medications in this picture. She's 115 pounds. It's would be her genetic weight. If you look, she has hair and she has mild color. How does someone 15 years later who goes from this can get on an old junky quad to go? She couldn't ride it, but she can get on it where she couldn't hear before. Her doctor hates my guts. Yeah, but guess what? Mr. Wallach, they killed her with the procedure, so she don't live here anymore. I had her for 15 years. But your tax dollars paid for 15 years of her being under my care because the industry let her get this bad. That is the reality of it. And again, when you go home tonight and you sit and you're comfortable in your house and you got your feet up and you're in your own home and your own shelter and your own security, remember what happens in the industry. That something's going to happen. You possibly remember what Wallach said, the #1 cause of bankruptcies is medical issues. And then guess what? I've done plenty of estate sales where I'm in people's houses and they're selling their stuff, and then the resident is hitting me and screaming and yelling and telling everybody to get out of their house, and because they're going to sell everything that you own and they're going to put it in a fund because you have assets, you're private pay, and that's what everybody they'll crawl over you to get to private pay. And if you move into a facility, you better make sure they have a Medicaid contract, because when all your money goes away, it's called spin down, you're out. Unless they have a Medicaid contract. And then usually the pay is half. So if I charge $4,500 for a private pay, I only get $2,800 if they're a Medicaid. And then if they're really hard care, you have to spend hundreds of dollars doing exception paperwork to try to get that extra help. This is the reality all over anymore. And again, with acquisitions.com and Dan Pina buying up these businesses, it's just getting worse. And that is unfortunate, the reality. You guys have got to figure out a way to make it as convenient as possible to take your supplements, carry them with you. Who cares if they give you a look in the restaurant, you got a bag of minerals? Who cares? I'm not in any pain. You got to figure out a way to watch those videos and implement it. You don't want to go crazy, but if you don't invest in you and him, you're going to invest in me and my industry. And it's not as pleasant as everybody wants to make it out to believe. That's kind of a Debbie Downer negative, but that's part of what I want to do, is to get not scared straight, but get you to focus and prepare your assets. They go back 5 years. The government goes back 5 years and they look at all of your assets and your friends, and do you own land and all of that stuff. And they're going to get it one way or the other. I have no problem with telling you to go get an attorney and figure out a way to protect your assets if you think you're in that age group where you can be needing medical care.
So as we listen to Nick, folks, do you know people that are aging, that are in the state or looking at becoming in that negative health state where they're on 27 different prescriptions? as he just showed, it's not too late to change the diet. It's not too late to get the nutrition going into the body so that the body can do what it's designed to do. And Dr. Wallach has made it simple because he's done all the research. He's already put together the formulas. All we have to do is put them in our mouths. So invest in yourself now so you don't have to invest in Nick later. I like Nick. He's a great guy.
I have a waiting list of people that they're just not going to listen. I had a lady a couple weeks ago. She's like, she's got a trach on her throat, and she's, I'm not going to give up my bread. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, there's gluten-free bread, but I understand. Have a good day to walk off. So I'm gonna have a waiting list no matter what, because there's just enough people that just don't listen. So
I'm gonna say, Nick, we need to have a conference once a month or once a week or something like that for, you know, free conference people can get on, people like that. Okay. Now, in a couple of weeks, I'll be 84 years old. And most people, because of my energy and all the things we do, I mean, I'm all over the place. We're going to be doing a big event. What is it?
The beginning of June.
What? The beginning of June. Yeah, we're going to be doing this. What? In the desert?
So it's contact in the desert. And folks, Nick was talking about stress. If my hair totally turns gray, it's Doc's fault. And so it's contact in the desert. So just saying, but that I'm looking forward to it, Dr. Wallach.
maybe I can help. I got a little more free time lately.
Nice. And that's it. We are looking for help. We are looking for people who don't want to fall victims to a system that's failing us, that's continually managing sickness. We're into milking the system. Yeah, they're milking you, folks.
Yeah, you're a slave to the system too. Once you get in the system, the state will come take you away. This is the resident who I got rid of the diabetes in 31 days. His caseworkers always had this attitude towards us as the first day he moved in. And they're moving him out because he gets depressed once in a while. Well, guess what? If you went to a court and you had to do a trial, you have to be clean and sober. You can't be high or on drugs. Well, he's on so many CBD medications because he's gluten-free, he's absorbing them more, and they started becoming more too much. So he would just sit there and go like this. And because they had Parkinson's, they thought it was normal. He couldn't make quality decisions, but because he just gets depressed once in a while because he's still young enough and wants to go out and do things. That's his number one issue, is he wants to go out and go do things. He can only play air hockey. He can't ride a bike. He can walk, but he can't do anything with his hands. Well, they move him out to a facility that has more, and they just took him. They didn't even tell me he was coming. They just went in there and they brought my competition into my facility and just grabbed him and took him. Nothing I can do about it. Well, I'm doing something about it, but there's really nothing I can do about it. They just took him. That's that. Again, this is the reality of the system. And if you fight and you get angry, you know, the doctor will drop you and he'll blacklist you. He'll put you on a piece of paper and say, this guy's not compliant.
And that's something that I just wanted. I'm glad you brought that up because I have a question over here. Shannon was wanting to know out on YouTube, what does it mean to be blacklisted? Well, folks, if you're non-compliant with a doctor because you're not going to take the drugs that he's prescribing and you want to do something else, they can blacklist you. And then no doctor wants to look at you or care for you. But if you're taking the supplementation and you don't have the need for pharmaceuticals, then you don't have to worry about dealing with doctors. For the most part, I mean, there's cases. I mean, we don't prevent, diagnose, cure any diseases. It's the products don't do that, but your body can do amazing things. And Dr. Wallach talks about emergency room doctors. There's a need for emergency room doctors when it comes to having accidents and things that are more than just breakdown of the body. But
yeah, I remember 20 years ago, Wallach came to Roseburg, Oregon, and I helped him with his luggage to unload stuff. And I'm looking at his skin, and he's 64 then. I'm looking at his skin, and it's nice as mine. And I'm like, what's up with that? And we're both carrying the same heavy stuff. And I was almost as winded as he was. And he just like looks at me, he goes, well, you're not dosing enough. And then shut the door and just took off. You know, I never seen him again. But you know, it's you know, you just got to do it. Nobody in my family lineage has ever lived to be past 70. So I'll be 54 here in June, you know, and so I made the choice. You got to make the choice. Do I really only have 16 Christmases left? You know, and that's kind of indicative everywhere. You know, I have a collector room of stuff. Okay, I really don't want the state in here selling my stuff and giving it to some doctor so, you know, he can blacklist my residence or steal my residence. You know, I take care of myself, and I just hope you guys do too. That's the basics.
And that's what we're hoping that we're driving home through this presentation today, folks. There is so much you can do on your own. And if you don't do it on your own, you're going to lose all control later. I don't want to lose control of what I can do with my life, what I put in my mouth, where I live. It just doesn't sound like the type of life that I would even dream of living.
I have 7 computers around my facilities that people, and they all have the YouTube stuff, and it's all Wallach's stuff. Open a new tab, open a new tab, open a new tab, and they can just come by and just press click, and I let it play in the background. They can't, you know, it just plays. So, and when they're sleepy, I'll put the soft music on. But you can get a little computer this big anymore that sits right next to the blender by the coffee machine, and there's the little monitor, and there's the 2 speakers, and then in the garage, and in the living room, they can just listen to whatever they want in their room, and you can just put the video, press play, and just turn around and walk away, and they can listen. If they don't want to listen, they don't have to listen, but these are things that you can do, you know.
Absolutely.
When I do talks, I have an extended speaker on my phone, so I can play it loud. So I can just put the phone down and let Wallach, one of Wallach's presentations, play in the background. Anyway, I'll stop interrupting.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. I love it. I love it. And that one thing I love about YouTube is you can create a playlist, or you can just subscribe to a channel and do a continual play on all of the programs that are on Critical Health News channel there on YouTube. And then we have it on Rumble as well. We also have Facebook with Critical Health News, where we have Dr. Wallach's 24/7. 24/7. We can access the information that Dr. Wallach has been talking about for years. And on our channels, we have many years of history, Dr. Wallach. I absolutely love that. So did you have another before and after picture, Nick, that you wanted to share? Save it for next time, if not.
Yeah, no, not today. I didn't know how much time I wanted to do, and I still got to check with some of the attorneys and nurses on what I can show and what I can't show. This lady unfortunately passed away, so it's kind of a different set of rules. But you didn't see the face of this guy here when the state basically kidnapped and took my resident away from me, you know, without. Oh, guess what? I have to give a refund too, because it was before the beginning of the month. You know, this is how it is. You know, it's just is. You know, so I don't know. You know.
So we need to be part of the change, Nick. The part of the change that then gives people the nutrition that the body needs. Dr. Wallach started it. We're just part of the army.
Yep.
And joining forces and being in this, you know, I don't like fighting, but it really is. It's a fight for our own rights to be able to hold on to the nutrition, because the food is not containing it. It is just not there.
In copious amounts. I get people that nitpick and argue, oh, there's 15 vitamins. Yeah, 0.000%. It's insignificant for you. It might be okay for the caterpillar and the grasshopper to eat it, but not for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In Dr. Wallach's book, Hell's Kitchen, it talks about
the transition. Yeah,
so
talks about the there you go.
Let's Play Doctor, Rare Herbs, Forbidden Cures.
Yeah.
This
talks about the transition from wood and coal as fuel, and we put the wood ashes into the gardens and into our food, and we put in there as a spice and as a fertilizer, but we didn't realize it, but we were getting all the minerals that those plants were sucking up out of the ground when we burned the wood. We took those wood ashes, which are 98% minerals and 2 or 3% carbon. Okay, same way with coal ashes. And then when we switched over to electricity, doctors said, oh, just eat well, you get everything you need. They never said, you got to make up that difference. You're not getting those minerals anymore from the wood ashes and coal ashes. And this story, this transition, this failed transition from thousands and thousands and thousands of years of getting our minerals, our nutritional minerals from wood ashes and coal ashes to going to electricity. How many minerals do you find in your oven when your oven is an electric oven? How many minerals do you find in your refrigerator if your refrigerator is an electric refrigerator? How many minerals do you find in your electric lights when your ceiling lights or electricity? If you have a generator, okay, how many minerals do you find from your generator that's generating electricity? And you have these panels outside from the sun driving those generators. Okay, there's no wood ashes anymore. There's no more coal ashes. So you have to make up that difference. Okay. And so we treat our cars better than we treat ourselves. We treat our cars better than we treat ourselves. We don't just put dirt from Texas in our car and say, hey, there's bound to be some oil in there. That's dirt from Texas. We don't do stupid things like that. Okay. And so this is the reason why we are so successful in pulling people out of the hole and adding 15 to 20 years to their life. And so this is Hell's Kitchen. I love this little book. It's only a little book. It's not a big, not one of my biggest ones. But it's a book that tells that transition to change humanity from thousands and thousands and thousands of years of being a mineralized, which I say species, being a mineralized species, to being a non-mineralized species. And we're paying a horrible price, including all these emotional problems. There's so many nutrients that are necessary. And of course, we have the I-26, which prevents and reverses Alzheimer's disease, which prevents and reverses MS, multiple sclerosis, Guillain-Barré syndrome. This new one now, which is FTD, frontal temporal dementia. Okay, you've heard of that one, I'm sure. You probably get some of them in your place.
That's easy fix too. That's what that one drives me nuts, Wallach. That is so whatever. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, after the after the freedom, okay, from all these minerals, okay, and also from wood ashes and coal ashes, suddenly now everything is made from electricity. We don't have those ashes anymore, and people are paying the price. And of course, we have this book, okay, I'm sure you have one of these, of Wallach Revolution. This is a 75-year track record of some of the big cures we've made over the years by putting nutrients into people's foods. When they were told they had a genetic disease, there was nothing to do about it, and we would cure them in 3 weeks, kind of thing, by giving them nutrients, particularly minerals. And so this is where we come from. And we cannot thank you enough for all you do, because you have recognized the need for these nutrients. You have recognized the need for protection of these folks. You recognize the need to stay away from the bad stuff. And we're, it's like everything else. We will save a percentage. We're not going to be able to save everybody because, they're being pulled all these different directions. And we just hope and pray that we save the majority. That's our goal, is to save the majority in a healthy, productive, loving manner.
And I think the new future market is China and Dubai, where there's lots of people with lots of money that don't want to get in the system, that want to, be out playing golf at 90, 100 years of age. Because they're rich. They live in these beautiful areas.
Let's you and I talk to them.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. It's just, remember Someone Needs to Go to Jail Part 2, where the athlete Prince kid, all the Kings, they can't save Prince, can't save Michael Jackson, can't save Colin Powell, can't save Justin Bieber. Really? He's got a facial tip. They can't save you, and that's just not their field. You get something in your eye, you go down to Roseburg with my eye doctor lady, love her. You get hit by a truck and the doctor puts you back together, fine. Your appendix ruptures, which is from a gluten issue. You go to the doctor, fine. You pay the bill, you shake his hand. That's what they went to the school for. That's where they take all the big lessons. But they will tell you that they only take 2 weeks of nutrition in 10 years of school. I just ask Ruth Ellen. I was at the shop yesterday talking to an RN about her husband diabetic. Wallach, you should have seen the look on her face when I told her that you get rid of kidney dialysis problems all the time. If I hadn't already introduced myself, I think she would have gotten angry and kicked me out because her face got red. She couldn't believe it because she says, how is that possible when all of these people in these buildings say, what we're talking about? Go back to work. That's how they will talk to you. And she says same thing. She goes, yeah, we took 2 weeks of nutrition and then you kind of just forget about it because there's so much to learn. Again, look at all that I have to do. This is 1 year's worth of garbage.
And you're not a doctor.
No. I mean, I did nursing school and stuff, and I'm not a doctor. But again, I can control the kitchen. And again, I deal with the end of life results of all the pet theories. I have a 102-year-old at the other facility. And, the next time we talk, I'll talk about doctors that I've taken care of, Wallach, people that we've saved. We saved optometrists 3 times. We got them off hospice. Not one time in a year and a half that any of his friends, his pharmaceutical friends, his doctor friends, nurse friends ever asked us what we did for him. Plausible deniability. He was pulled off hospice 3 times, and then they take him out to the wineries, and of course eats a bunch of gluten and drinks a bunch of wine. He comes back, he's all messed up, hurting and in pain, and then he deteriorates, and then we save him, we bring him back up. This happened 3 times, and we couldn't save him on the 3rd time. Nobody ever asked what we do. They just, oh, thank you, you're doing a great job, but they never asked. Plausible deniability. They just kind of, good job, kind of thing.
Well, Nick, I just want to thank you and commend you for all you're doing. I look forward to be able to use what you're doing to help more and more, because folks, our parents don't have to end up in his facility.
Maybe for a year, but certainly not for 14.
14 years in a facility. That's just too much. And
it's a crime.
We need to take care of our own. I mean, there's a place for Nick. There's people that don't have families. There's a place for his business and industry. But even in that business and industry, we need to start making a difference and not be under that control that prevents us to be able to even give somebody supplements. It's not in the food. It should be mandatory to be given as a supplement at all ages, even though I don't like to be dictated to. If it didn't take Dr. Wallach telling me what I needed to do, what I have to do, I would not be here today. I would not be here. So I know Dr. Wallach needs to be somewhere else right now because he's got another program starting. So Dr. Wallach, thank you again for being here with us today. And thank you.
Both of your teams.
Well, absolutely. And Dr. Wallach, thank you for making that impression on Nick so many years ago that allows him to be able to do what he does now. So I'm going to say bye to you.
Bye-bye, and thank you, Nick. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Wallach. We love and appreciate you. And folks, Nick is one individual. Oops, sorry. I miss Ruth Ellen. Ruth Ellen, I need you. But as individuals coming together, working together, making an impact in communities, we can then impact the world. And that's what we are calling out for, more people who have that passion, even if it's just 1 or 2 people, to help see them have a better quality of life. So get back with the person that shared this program with you. Join us. Go to dailywithdoc.com. Use that contact us. If you have questions, contact us. Let us know. I know our show, we kind of went pretty deep. We didn't have time for Q&A today, but I know there's a lot of people out there that are in a position like Nick that want to do more for those that they work with. So I'm going to be working closely with Nick and creating things that can be done legally that then helps give people benefits that are under the care of somebody else or under our own care when caring for our families, young and old. So thank you so much, Nick, again, for being here with us. I look forward, we've talked about doing series on different things, so I'm excited about that and being able to bring even more information where implementing Dr. Wallach's programs and protocols are truly making a difference in the lives of others. So Nick, will you come back?
Yes, I will. I'll try to figure out a way to add more lighting and more professional pictures and ability to show things. I'm not sure how to do that yet.
I can help you with that. I got a little bit of skill.
Yes.
Well, thank you, everybody. And I just want to thank my co-hosts. We've got John T. McCollier on here. He's got, the man with all of the technology who put this whole thing together in the beginning. So thank you, John T., for coming back and stepping in and helping out. We've got Marilyn Pizzera Spear and Phyllis Anderson and Sherry Browning, all certified holistic health coaches. And folks, if you have a passion for health or even a little bit of wanting to know more, that certified holistic health coach course is available to everybody. Everybody, not just those that have joined forces with us with Youngevity as associates and coaches. You can get more information about that program at coachwithbecca.com. Now, if you want to, and you should, not just if, but you should want to know what you can do to help yourself and help your families. Get with the person that invited you to this program. Go to dailywithdoc.com. If you've never spoken to anybody about Youngevity or the program, let's get you connected with a certified holistic health coach that can help you choose the right items needed to meet your individual needs. You sign up for our newsletter, get the reminders in your email, and also get links to the replays from previous programs. We've got a newsletter that is also in the making, so make sure that you get signed up for that newsletter at dailywithdoc.com. We also have a store there, folks. All of the products that Dr. Wallach has put together and is available through Youngevity are in the store. I'm going to say the most popular ones, the ones that we recommend most, are flagship products. We've removed a lot of the stuff that people may not be interested in because they don't focus on health or focus on a non-toxic lifestyle, which all the products do. Don't get me wrong. I said that wrong. But there's a few things that I personally would recommend to people based on all of my experience, Jonty and his experience, Phyllis and her experience, working with individuals of all different incomes, all different health, whether it's good health, bad health, poor health, looking at, making end of life arrangements and then coming back and being able to live another 7, 8, 10 years and enjoying it. I wasn't there. I didn't look forward to enjoying life. And now I do. I invite you to do the same. So go to dailywithdoc.com, visit our store, visit all of our replays, get more information that empowers you to make a difference in your own life and your community. Until next time, bye for now.